function of cork cambium. Cork cambium, it is found in the formed outside the steel. It is formed from the parenchyma as a result of dedifferentiation. That is, cells of this region regain the power of division. Cells of this region regain the power of division and they form cork cambium or phallogen. It is also called phallogen. Cork cambium is also known as phallogen. Cork cambium is also called phallogen. And phallogen forms new tissue on both the sides. Phallogen forms new tissue on both the sides, towards outer side and towards inner side. Outer side it forms bark, whereas towards inner side it forms secondary cortex. Towards inner side it forms secondary cortex. The red one is cork cambium. This red one is cork cambium. This is cork, that is towards outer side, and this is secondary cortex or phalloderm. Secondary cortex is called phalloderm, towards inner side. Secondary cortex towards inner side. That is first cork. Cork is called phallum. Then cork cambium. Cork cambium, it is known as phallogen. Then secondary cortex. Secondary cortex is called phalloderm. Secondary cortex is known as phalloderm. All three collectively known as pariderm. All three collectively known as pariderm. These all three collectively constitute pariderm. So, here now the position is quite clear. What is the role of cork cambium? That is to form cork towards outer side and secondary cortex, that is phalloderm, towards inner side. So, first option is correct. Cork is also known as phallum. Cork is also known as phallum and it is made up of dead tissue. And the cork cells are known for the deposition of suberin. Cork is known as phallum. Second, the cells are suberized, made up of suberized cells. That is, suberin deposition is seen in them. And the outermost part of cork, made up of exclusively dead tissue, that is rhytidome. Outermost part of cork made up of dead tissue only, that is known as rhytidome. It is totally made up of dead cells. Then other name for the secondary cortex. Come to the other name of the secondary cortex. Question number 38. Then cork and cork cambium. For the order, see according to order, secondary cortex, then cork cambium, then cork. Secondary cortex is called phalloderm. Secondary cortex is known as phalloderm. So, let us start with the phalloderm. Then this option is the only option. Secondary cortex is called phalloderm. Then cork is called phallogen. And the outermost dead tissue, that is cork, is known as phallum. Cork cambium is phallogen. Secondary cortex is phalloderm. And cork is known as phallum. And all these three collectively constitute pariderm. That is, they are the part of pariderm. So, question number 38 is now over. 39. Youngest layer of secondary xylem. This is cambium. or vascular cambium. This is cambium. Cambium forms secondary tissue on both the sides. This is cambium. What is this? Cambium. It forms new tissue on both the sides. Towards outer side, secondary phloem. Towards outer side, it forms secondary phloem, and towards inner side, secondary xylem. Towards inner side, it forms secondary xylem. But natural. The cells of cambium are in the state of division and they form new tissue, and the older one moving towards center, new one is adjacent to cambium. So, but natural, it is just inside the cambium. That is secondary xylem, youngest layer of secondary xylem. Its location is inside the cambium, because cambium forms secondary xylem towards inner side, and this is the youngest layer and that's the oldest one towards center. Annual rings. The activity of cambium. Activity of cambium is not uniform, especially in temperate area. The activity of a cambium is not uniform, especially in temperate region. Cambium is most active in spring season, and cambium forms secondary xylem in spring is known as springwood, known for large vessels. Cambium is least active in autumn season. The least active in autumn season. In autumn season, the wood form is known as autumn wood or late wood, known for small vessels and they are compactly arranged. Whereas you see in spring wood they are large. So, clear cut, two types of woods are formed in a year, that is in spring season spring wood, in autumn season autumn wood, and both collectively constitute annual ring. Both collectively constitute an annual ring, and by the counting of annual ring we can calculate the age of tree. We can easily calculate the age of tree. But these annual rings are seen in those climatic conditions where there is a variability of season. There is a clear cut variation in the season, and this type of variability is seen in temperate climatic condition. Temperate climatic condition. That's why the answer is 4. That's why answer is 4. Tissue present in annual ring, mentioned I have already. That is secondary xylem only. Secondary xylem only. Actually, annual rings are consist of xylem. Basically, two different types of vessels are formed in two different types of season. So, vessels are the part of secondary xylem. That's why tissue present in annual ring is only related with the secondary xylem, not with the phloem. Which of the following do have maximum harm? In a tree, if we remove bark, bark includes secondary phloem. Bark includes secondary phloem. So, conduction of organic matter stops. That's why removal of bark is more harmful than above all these, because leaves they will reappear. Leaves they will reappear, but bark formation, once bark is removed, it will not be recovered. So, suppose this is a structure of a trunk, this is a structure of a trunk, In peripheral region, this is secondary phloem. If we remove the bark, that is in this manner, this is ringing actually. If we remove the bark, by the removal of bark, what is removed? That is phloem is removed, and that phloem stops conduction of organic matter. In which direction? Especially in downward direction. So plant has maximum harm due to the removal of bark. Reason, that is vital tissue phloem is removed. Vital tissue phloem is removed. Vital tissue phloem is removed. And because of the removal of phloem, translocation of organic matter stops. Translocation of organic matter interrupts or stops. This is the reason. Next one, lenticels. They are seen in bark. Lenticels are seen in bark, that is especially outer bark, outer cork area. Minute openings are there, and those openings are known as lenticels. These openings are called lenticels. This is the position of cork cambium in the outside the stellar region. Phloem generally forms cork towards outer side. Phloem or cork cambium generally forms cork towards outer area. So these are all cork, but in some reason, instead of cork, it produces parenchyma. Instead of cork, it produces parenchyma. Like this one. This is parenchyma in this region. And this interruption with parenchymatous cells is known as lenticels. This is known as lenticels, and its structure is clearly given in NCERT book. Clearly given in your NCERT book. And lenticels are concerned with the exchange of gases. This remaining other portion is cork. This is cork. The interruptions in cork, and in this interruption only parenchymatous cells are present. And through this structure gaseous exchange takes place. So these are the lenticels. Very smaller amount of water is also lost through this structure. So lenticels develop through the activity of phloem. Because in all the area it forms cork at few portions. In few portions it forms only parenchymatous cells. Now, in old dicot stem, the major portion of a wood, that is heartwood or duramen. Suppose we take the section. This is the section of a dicot tree, especially its trunk, and you see the secondary xylem portion. This is centrally located. Major is dark colored is heartwood or duramen, and the light colored peripheral is known as sapwood. So that's why the heartwood is the correct answer. It is also called duramen. Heartwood is also known as duramen. Sapwood is called alburnum. Sapwood is known as alburnum. This is physiologically inactive, this is physiologically active. But the prominent one is duramen. The prominent one is duramen. This prominent wood is duramen. This is duramen actually. This is. No secondary growth occurs in monocot stem. The clear-cut reason they don't have cambium or cork cambium. They don't have lateral meristem. Vascular bundles are scattered, wrong. Vascular bundles are closed, this is almost right, yes. Vascular bundles are closed, that is they don't have cambium. Closed means they don't have cambium. They don't have cambium, this is the only answer, because cambium is responsible for the secondary growth. Cambium is responsible for the secondary growth. Monocot stem, no lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is not found in them. Lateral meristem is not found in them. That is cambium and cork cambium. Cambium and cork cambium, they do not form. Neither present nor they form. That's why they don't have any secondary growth. They don't have any secondary growth. That's all for the anatomy and histology of angiospermic plant. That's all for the anatomy and histology of angiosperm plant. Thank you.